Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm with Erin Sykes, the chief economist for Nest Seekers International. Erin, thanks for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you just give us your brief background and kind of what you're about?
Sure. So I am not only the chief economist for Nest Seekers, which really lives at the confluence of real estate and also media. We have a new show coming out on Discovery Plus this month. So very excited about that. It's called Selling the Hamptons. But
Ooh.
also I sell myself in Florida, Palm Beach to Miami, and also in the Hamptons and New York City.
Selling Hamptons is not the Selling Sunset series then, because that's Netflix, right?
Correct. So we had an
So different.
original show on Netflix that came out at about the same time, really during lockdown, which was great timing because everybody was at home, and that was on Netflix initially. So now we have a new one coming out on Discovery Plus. So that one is Selling the Hamptons.
Great. And that's obviously just going to be in the summer, or are you guys filming before the summer?
It was already filmed. So,
It was already filmed. Okay.
yeah, there's, I believe, six main cast members, and they were filmed throughout this past summer. And the premiere is January 21st. Or no,
Oh, very cool.
January 20th. I'm sorry.
All right. All right. January 20th. I will
Mhm.
definitely check that out. So you've migrated from New York. Were you living in the Hamptons or where were you living?
I lived in Manhattan for the most of the last 20 years. I lived in LA for grad school. I went to Pepperdine out there. And then I came back east. I had originally grown up in New Jersey, went to school in Philadelphia, New York, LA, back to New York again, and then down to Florida.
So you're one of the many Northeasterners that moved or relocated down to South Florida. I am one of those as well. Born and raised, lived in Connecticut my entire life. And then about a year and a half ago, relocated to Naples, Florida. So tell me why you made that decision. Why are so many other people moving from the Northeast states to Florida, in your opinion?
hmm So I made the decision just pre-COVID. It was 2019 when I officially moved down, and it was for a relationship. It had nothing to do with anything other than being close to my family and being in this relationship. And it was, in retrospect, not like I planned it, but I was in the right place at the right time. So I was able to capitalize on this continued influx into Florida with real estate. So the reason I think people continue to migrate to Florida and to Texas and to Arizona and these other states, it's obvious tax advantage, which is why it had been happening already pre-pandemic for a number of years, but also because businesses in these states have been doing superior to those located in other states where they had to lock down. So there is a huge lifestyle component, an emotional and mental health component to being able to live your life and still thrive and make money during this time.
My main sales business is still in Connecticut. We did over 500 sales in 2021 for about 186, $87 million. And I'm able to do that from down here. Is real estate like that one unique industry where you're selling in multiple locations? I want you to talk about that a little bit. But is real estate that one industry where you can live in one location and still sell in another? How do you pull it off? And are you seeing more people at Nest Seekers and some of your connections throughout the industry do the same thing?
Sure. So I think it's tricky. Um, I personally like to be involved in every single transaction that I'm a part of, physically involved. I'm a little bit perhaps of a micromanager, but
Okay.
so that said, when I'm doing the transactions in multiple states, that means I am physically in New York, in the Hamptons, in Miami, in Vero Beach, in Palm Beach. I'm physically in each of those locations. What I think is necessary for myself and for other people's businesses to grow when they want to do something similar to, what you've done, being able to sell almost 200 million, in a different state, is really build out a team of people and
Yeah.
agents that you trust, and people that operate on the same wavelength as you, that you can hand over the reins to, and that your client is going to be secure.
Are you on a team or doing everything solo?
Right now, I do everything solo.
Oh, well, not totally solo because you do have an assistant that was hitting me up.
Yeah, I do have some corporate help in terms of our PR team who you spoke
Yeah.
with, and then I have an informal team structure where I have a partner who lives in Miami, another partner who lives close by to me in Palm Beach, and then some trusted colleagues up in the Hamptons and New York, and can go upstate, and so they can lay the preliminary groundwork when I'm not physically there. And then if something is, really the ball gets rolling, then I jump in person.
And will you like say you've got you just had a big sale in Vero Beach, but that's easy to get to living in you're living in Palm Beach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about an hour and a half north.
But you can hop in a car and get to that one. If you have a big listing in the Hamptons, will you go up there to see it through or just kind of fly back and forth as needed?
I did spend the summer this year in the Hamptons, so I was there for 2.5 months. So, I had some deals going on in Florida when that was happening, and I would fly down, for closings, for inspections, for those types of things. Showings had already been completed, so it was manageable, when I was doing it this year. If I'm in prime season here in Florida, basically the next 4 months, and
Yeah.
something comes up in New York or the Hamptons, I will partner with somebody that I trust up there, and we'll split things 50-50. They can manage the showings, we'll do the negotiations together, we'll make sure it closes. So I think it's just super important to have boots on the ground of people you trust, and in order to grow, sometimes you have to let go of the reins, but then still keep a finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. It's a very fine line, so to be able to touch clients in multiple geographies.
So you have relationships with experts and real estate advisors that you trust in all of these locations that you're working in so that they're not just reliant on one person.
Exactly, exactly.
What would you say is like what inning are we in terms of people migrating down to Florida? I'm typically spending all my time on the West Coast in like Naples primarily, and it doesn't seemingly stop the amount of people that are coming down. And the West Coast of Florida used to just be like Midwest, Canada. A lot of Canadians come down. Now you've got a lot of the school my daughters are going to. There's a huge waiting list. It's made up of primarily people from New York and New Jersey, and so that's shifted quite a bit. It's young people. There are a lot of people moving down every single day. What inning do you think we're in if we're talking a 9 inning baseball game?
That is the $1 million question, because, like you said, we don't see anything slowing down on the east coast of Florida either. In fact, our inventory is as low as it has ever been. And with the incredible new development coming into Miami, that's kind of been the savior, because you have these buildings that won't be ready until 2025 or 2026, and we're already 75-80% sold out on them. So we're it seems like shifting forward a lot of the purchases that might have been made in 3 or 4 or 5 years. But until, I think the rest of the country catches up to what places like Miami is currently offering. I mean, you look at the migration out of Silicon Valley and down into Miami, and Bitcoin billionaire, metropolis down there, and you have the Francis Suarez takes part of his salary in Bitcoin. You have the new mayor of New York City offering to do the same thing. So I think you're going to see a reshuffling and some movement back into Manhattan. We've already seen that, but I think it's just going to be a different kind of balance where people are going to continue to live between the two, but where before their pied a terre was in Florida and their main residence was in New York or New Jersey, now their main residence will be Florida. They'll still have a pied a terre so they can have FaceTime in the office. I am personally, not a huge advocate of 100% work from home because I think that you need to interact. We're human beings and we bounce ideas off of each other and energy off of each other, and you can't always do that remotely. So, I myself, I keep a place in New York City because I want to be there. Living in the pulse of New York, even though it's not the same New York that I, had the last 20 years, like it's still where you have some of the smartest people in the country that are all, living within blocks of each other. So I don't see a slowdown for Florida. I think we've got, at least another year or so of a strong run in us before we really see things peter out. But, then again, we're up against incredible inflation. And we keep getting changing information every day about how that will affect people. We have a huge sell-off in stock market today. So, whereas some people were
I
saying that
know. Don't remind me about that.
yeah, I mean, maybe Ray Dalio was wrong when he was saying cash is trash. It's certainly
Yeah.
not, because that's how 80 to 90% of our luxury purchases in Florida have been just in cash. And those who have had some money on the sidelines are going to have the opportunity to dive in.
When you say dive in, what's your outlook on luxury real estate? Now, I'm assuming you're primarily just all luxury, right? Luxury real
Hmm.
estate. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your price point basically that you're dealing with?
sweet spot is between 5 and 10.
Okay. So I mean, what would they consider in Miami the luxury starting point? Is it 5 million?
Yeah, you know what? Things have shifted. It used to be 3 or 4, and now we're really
It's
seeing,
gone up.
absolutely. So to get oceanfront in Miami, you're looking at a starting point of 5 million at this point.
So 5 million in Miami is luxury. What's your, you're saying maybe cash is a good thing. So what's your outlook? Is luxury real estate going to come down?
Not from my perspective, because we've had most of our buyers have been 100% cash. Maybe they've taken like the low loans on the back end, but they're closing in cash. And we still see a lot of
Hmm.
people moving money into real estate as an inflation hub. We see a lot of institutional money coming and buying single family homes so that they can
Yeah.
then rent out. And that's because of the generalized, 5 million unit housing shortage across the country. So I still see real estate, particularly in states like Florida and Arizona and Texas and Tennessee and South Carolina. This is where a lot of people are feeling sheltering their money, knowing that it's not going to decrease in value during this inflationary period. That's where they feel comfortable.
Do you believe you have an advantage over other luxury agents who are just in Manhattan for 12 months or just in Miami for 12 months when you speak to prospective buyers that want to do what you're doing, be in multiple locations? Do you feel like you have an advantage, or are you at a disadvantage against those other brokers by moving around?
The most important thing, because I think everybody wants to do, this mobile lifestyle right now, and I have heard a lot of brokers talk about, basically doing what I'm doing or doing what you're doing. You have got to know inside and out every single market that you're working in. You can't just say, "Hey, I'm going to get
Yeah.
licensed in Florida or whatever state," and
Everybody thinks it comes down to the license.
yeah, it's not the license. You've got to
Yeah,
know what you're
not the license.
talking
The
about.
license doesn't even matter, actually.
No, I mean, I don't remember how many feet are in an acre or whatever they test us on in those licensing courses. All I know is that, where is
43,000 something.
good for you.
Oh,
you know.
46,000. Uh-oh.
It was a lot. It was, but it's, I know Miami and I know Palm Beach and I know Oceanfront. And at the same time, I spent 20 years in Manhattan. I spent over 10 summers in the Hamptons. I know, how to avoid 27 and go every back route, on the way out to Montauk. And you can't learn those things if you're not living and breathing the areas, day in and day out.
I've heard so many agents say what you referenced. Well, I want to get into Florida real estate, so I'm going to get my license. You're going to get your license. What is that going to do for you? If you know buyers and sellers, you can make money off the transaction without having your license. You already have your license in one state. So you can get referrals by connecting people all day long. Get down here. Start, like you said, start learning the market. Before I ever bought a piece of real estate in Naples, I had been spending 1, 2, 3 months every single winter down here for almost 10 years straight. So I knew the restaurants. I knew people. Like, I had a network down here. I knew that in, Pelican Bay, there's over 6,000 homes. Like, I knew different parts of the market that, like, I had lived here. So I think you're absolutely right. You got to get in these locations and actually spend some time. You don't have to, change your residency right off the bat, but you've got to spend some real time, not a 1 week vacation where, you're going to just be, out drinking the whole time. You have to, like, live as if
Mm-hmm.
you were a resident.
Absolutely. And that's been, my kind of recommendation to so many of the agents that are, doing going after 5 or 6 licenses, because frankly, I don't think, at least in my experience, if you're licensed in a state and you can't be there to work on the transaction, regardless if you're licensed or not, you're going to get 25% for the referral. There's some, rumor going out there. Well, if I refer somebody to Florida and I happen to be licensed in Florida, I'm going to command 50% for that referral. You're not going to get it. You're still getting
Not if you're
25%.
Yeah, not if you're negotiating with somebody who knows what the heck they're doing
Right,
on your
right.
referral fee, right? Now, you're kind of a baller because you're definitely a baller, not kind of a baller, because you're not only just listing in Florida and the Hamptons, you also have listings in different countries.
Hmm.
So, what countries are you holding other listings in, and do you need a license to actually sell in those countries?
So this is where I really need, take advantage of having boots on the ground, and native people in each of these countries. So the two that I'm primarily working in is Portugal, and that's with work through the Golden Visa program, which is basically if you spend over $1 million, you get significant advantages in terms of residency and different qualifications, different levels, different ways to go about it. But we see a lot of movement from South America into Portugal because it is so investor friendly and the prices are just amazing. What you get for $1 million there, it blows anything in the United States away. So, and the
Really?
people are so friendly. I was there last in September, and I have never met a community that was more welcoming and kind and proud and just easygoing, easy to work with. Everybody is nobody's selfish. It's a really kind real estate community to work within. So the Algarve, Lisbon, Cascais, Sintra, those are like the hot spots in Portugal right now. Same with Mexico. And, of course, being close to Miami, we have a lot of Mexican buyers that come in, but also a lot of people that want to invest back in either their home country or, a proximate country. And Mexico, especially Puerto Cancun, has some amazing developments going on. My favorite developer down there is Luxemia, and I just got a few listings in Shark Tower and Shark Mansions, which is an
Yeah,
actual
walk us through one
yes.
of these shark mansions.
Yeah, so well, you have the tower, and that's shaped like a shark fin, and it's right on Puerto Cancun, which is like the gateway to Cancun. From the top floors, you can see the beach. You can see, basically 360 degrees panoramic. And the shark tower is amazing. However, what I find even more exciting are these 6 shark mansions that are positioned right adjacent to Shark Tower, and they're 4 stories each. These each have 6 parking garage spaces. So you drive down when you initially get there, you choose which one of your 6 private spaces you want, and all around you, you have sharks swimming and fish swimming, and you're really enveloped in this idea of sustainability. And that's, they give a portion of all of their proceeds to animal preservation and environmental preservation. And I think that Luxemia is just like really, uh, they are so forward thinking, like nothing else in the world. I mean, I've never parked my car in an aquarium before. So that's my personal favorite listing.
US dollars, what does the 4-story shark mansion in Mexico cost?
A steal at about 3.8 million.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is a steal. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, no,
But,
you can get into Shark Tower for 700,000, and you are in the
oh
best
wow.
building in Mexico.
Now, I don't know if you said, did you say it? Do you have to be licensed to do what you're doing there? Or is it because you just have the boots on the ground? You don't even need to carry a license, or is there even a real estate licensing in Mexico?
No, it's not the same way that we structure things in the United States. It's there's not like exams and licensing requirements. Everything is done through attorneys. So basically, you are designated as a salesperson, and you kind of learn on your own. It's very different than choosing the educational path into real estate that we do here in the United States.
Okay. And you brought up crypto. Are people like in Shark Tower transacting in crypto? Because I'm assuming people are coming from all over the place to buy in a building like that. So, what's your experience with crypto and real estate?
So Shark Tower have not experienced crypto purchases yet. However, in Miami, we're seeing a ton, and the Waldorf Astoria and 11 residences, both are by PMG, the developer. They are really running fast forward using cryptocurrency for purchases. And it's actually exacerbated and really spearheaded because the old basketball stadium, or the American Airlines Arena, it's not old, it's a brand new building, but it's now FTX Arena, and that's one of the crypto trading platforms, and that is a stone's throw from both the 11 residences and Waldorf Astoria. So we've seen a lot of transactions there, and we have different apps and different DeFi platforms, which is decentralized finance, so that you can actually lever your crypto just like you would by taking a mortgage or taking a loan against your own assets in a traditional bank setting. So that way, you might hold, rather than sell your $10 million in Bitcoin, you can take a loan against it and then, not have to wipe out your account, because, crypto investors expect those crazy prices to drive up for the
Sure.
foreseeable future. So if people are talking about Bitcoin at $100,000 a coin, why would you sell your Bitcoin right now? You want it, you'll lever against it, and then you'll make a purchase that way.
And in that case, they're levering against turning into cash, a cash loan, and then purchasing the unit with the cash that they just borrowed,
That,
right?
yes. Now, when the developer, gets the crypto in hand at the close of the transaction, they immediately turn it into cash, because their vendors are not accepting cryptocurrency at this time, so they can't take that variability. I mean, today I think Bitcoin's at $40,000 a coin. It was $60,000 a coin a month ago, so they can't afford to have that high beta, but they will accept it and immediately turn into cash.
I mean, I know there's such a community of people that are into, crypto, Bitcoin, whatever in Miami. Are you like hanging out with that scene, spending time with people that are really deep into the crypto world?
Yeah, yeah, and it feeds back from my LA days because I was, in Santa Monica and Marina Del Rey. I lived there for 6 years and went to grad school at Pepperdine, and it was kind of like this advent of cryptocurrency, and this is going back at least 15 years ago. So now those same people have migrated across to Miami, and it's the new Silicon Valley. It's the new California, and I think that it really, like we said before, shows no sign of stopping. The community there is so strong, and the government and the state is so supportive of cryptocurrency and what blockchain allows for in the future. That it's here to stay.
What's the biggest problem nobody's talking about in Miami?
Hmm. I think we saw with Surfside and some of the older buildings.
Mm-hmm.
The old Miami construction was not good. So we're seeing so much demand for these newer buildings, but very, very low demand for anything built prior to the year
Sure.
2000.
That makes sense. Great call on that. What's your overall prediction then for luxury real estate? You don't think it's going to go down in 2022? How do you think it plays out? Is it going to be flat? Is it going to go up? Where are you at on
Yeah,
luxury
well,
homes?
I think, it's microcosms, right? I'm not saying that everything is going to go up throughout 2022. I think we are going to really dive into these microcosm communities again. And I see Florida as continuing to be very strong. I think New York City probably hope for flat, maybe a tick back, because we will see an increase in rates. And we don't know if, we're going to see 3 rate increases this year or 5. The Fed kind of is changing with the wind right now. So I think that we are in for some headwinds. I don't want to make it seem like it's all hunky dory. I just think that Florida has so much to offer that we're going to continue to see, a continued migration, and we expect that through at least 2023.
Awesome, Erin. I've really enjoyed this, and I hope everybody will go follow Erin on Instagram. Sykes Style is her handle. What's up with that handle? What's the meaning behind Sykes Style?
That's been, I say, my handle since the advent of social media. So we're going back to like 2004 with that, and it kind of fits whatever I'm going with. If it's working with new developments, it's a Sykes style new development. A single family home, it's a Sykes style single family. So it fits the vibe.
I love it. I hope we get to catch up at some point again later in the year, Erin. Everybody go follow her. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.